Well, good morning. I'm going to publish this short video on the selector process. Again, Rockola is 448 to 470. There have been a lot of inquiries and questions about this process, and it is complex. It's complex because 5 components are required in this circuit. If it doesn't select, that could be the keyboard, most importantly. It could be the selection control panel and that PCB in there. It could be the credit unit, could be the power supply, or any of those Molex connectors in between the keyboard and the right inside of the selector drum. So that's the issue. There's a lot of possible places to go wrong here, or have a loose connection, dirty contact, etc. So that's what we're going to go through in this video. Now, the assumption is for this video that your first digit light and your second digit light are working, and that after the second digit of the 3 is pressed, you have the latch solenoid on the keyboard latch or actuate. Those are the key things here. And then when you push the third button, we want to be sure everything works. And that's where I think there's a lot of hang up and questions. It's a common area for malfunction. So let's get started. In essence, we're talking about sequence 5 in the manual. It's on page 18. This is the 450 manual, but 448 to 470 are going to have the same events going on in this sequence. We're assuming if the second digit light is on and the solenoid up at the keyboard has actuated, that all of this component here, this is that selection control PCB board, this guy, we're assuming this guy is good. Not entirely true, but after the second digit light is on and the solenoid's kicked in, for the most part, this guy has done his job. So let's put that aside, and we'll look through the other components that need to be serviced to get this to happen. And this is a 25 volt circuit, a 3 amp slow blow. That's going to be in the power supply. Note that ADR relay has its fingers in everything, so those contacts have to be clean. And then you just go across here and look and see what has to happen. And where are these guys? Well, the K7 relay, that's in the selection control box right down here. That's involved if the third digit is 4 through 7. If the third digit is 0 through 3, it's these guys here, these 4 connectors. See, they have to be clean. What else is in this circuit? What makes it complicated? Well, here's your right-in relay over here. Okay, I hope you can see that. And what's in this? Well, there's a diode, there's a resistor, there's a 100 microfarad capacitor. They're all in the power supply back on the back board, and I'll show you a picture of it later. Very important to note that. And then what else do we have here? Well, we've got those got those 2 jumpers we talked about before. This PP jumper, that's over there on the back door. I think you can see it, the red connector. The other one, the RR jumper, is on the front of the power supply, back right here. We've talked about that. So let's start with the keyboard and work our way from there, because the keyboard is probably going to give us our most bang for the buck as far as remedies. Here's the schematic on the keyboard, and note that in this case they chose the third digit was a 4, and that goes up through K7, connects the contacts in K7 too, and that's what puts power up through the right-in relay, through those 2 jumpers. There they are. They're shown better in this. If your third digit was 0 through 3, it goes through these 3 jumpers. K7 isn't involved, but still it goes right up through the same circuit here. So let's look at the keyboard here a bit. This is the underside of the 448 keyboard. This is nice because there's a latch down there below. You can, and this swings up so for good visibility here. So let's look at the keyboard. Now I start off by exercising every, see these slide switches here? Every one 20 times with CRC, and so that's number one. Clean these contacts thoroughly. Number two, we've been through this before, but it's very important. Number two, clean all these blade switch contacts. This is that number 8. This is the contact that must make when for the right-in motor to right-in relay to actuate the right-in motor. So this has to make after the 3rd digit. And this one over here has to break when the 3rd digit is put. So clean these here. This is the holding circuit for the solenoid after the 2nd digit. So when this one has to make, later there's a micro switch there, but the idea is the same. So after you've cleaned all these, adjusted, now when the solenoid comes in, I want you to see here, when the 2nd digit is pressed, this solenoid kicks in. And it should look like this. Okay, I hope you can see that. And then this switch has made contact and holds this solenoid in. And then when you press the 3rd digit, look here, I hope you can see it. It should hold, okay? And there's got to be enough clearance there for that guy. If not, there are 2 screws that you adjust, and you can see it can slide over a little bit, but when you press the 3rd digit, it's got to stay there, and it will if the solenoid's in. If it doesn't, that's your adjustment. I hope that's clear, because that's key, very important. So you press the 3rd digit, this contact is now open, and this one is now closed. Your right-in relay should start, actuate and start the right-in motor. Now, while we're here, you see all these guys? All these Molex connectors should be reseated, because the chance of a dirty contact or loose wire in any of them, they're all under here. Push in. It's annoying how sometimes these tabs they break off, but you really should clean all these guys. And there's a whole other gang of them over there to the left, down below. And then, of course, back on the power supply, there's obviously some Molex connectors there. And certainly the selector system should be, all of them should be reseated. Anytime you see something like that, and there's one on the bottom too, it's very important to at least look at them. Reseat, look for loose wires. I know you're tired of hearing about the ADR relay, but its contacts are involved in so many circuits, whether or not the relay is kicking in. So all of these guys have to be cleaned. When you use 600 sandpaper or a business card cut into thin strips, CRC, all those guys need to be cleaned. Well, later on, that was replaced by the Sequence N circuit board. But for most of these models, you have to deal with this guy, and you should be familiar with him. The other, reseat everything in here. This selection impulse switch needs to be, for the next step, but while you're here, you should at least service that. By the way, if you want to put it on free play, you just push here, give some credit, and take out that the little spring in the bar, and then when the cancel coil actuate a debit coil, it still hits the selection impulse switch, but doesn't debit the wheel, so it stays open. Okay. Here's the visual inside the power supply. We took it off the back door, and this must be serviced if you're keeping your box just for general principles with the 3 capacitors. But if you're right-in relay and it's right there, K3, the red one on the front. If it's not working, then you guys replace this capacitor and check this resistor and that diode right there. It's hard to see, but those three guys are critical. They're right in the pathway. Your right-in relay isn't going to work if that capacitor or that resistor or that diode are malfunctioning. So you got to do that. Okay, I think that's about it. So we went through pretty much the 5 components. The right-in process. I hope this helps. I hope you're getting a better visual of what's going on here and why the right-in process causes so many headaches. Again, I'm going to sign off for now. If you have further questions, you can probably maybe better to go through the Facebook Rockola groups and maybe get some other feedback from others besides myself. So, but all right, till next time, you all have a good day, and I hope you fix your machines.